This is the Studio Series Optimus Prime from Transformers War for Cybertron. It's a really great figure with a few questionable choices.
That's a pin.
And something that really worries me. We'll get to that, so stick around.
A quick look at the box art. You have Optimus Prime over there.
This piece of artwork looks really cool. It looks all grungy.
A look at the side, a more full picture of Optimus. I think this D-pad over here is really cute. And then a quick look at the back showing off more of the product. Funny how it still says big screen inspired. They didn't bother to change that. Now let's open it up. I already ripped it. Here's a figure, and he feels really solid in hand. And I think with some personal weathering, you can make this figure a lot more game accurate. He comes with his classic blaster and an axe. We'll get to these later, so stick around. I do feel like this waist is a little bit loose. That might just be my copy. But let's get into the rest of the figure. The head sculpt is done really well. Just take a look at that. He's got his tiny blue eyes, and the silver mouthpiece and top is done really well. The rest of the head sculpt is also looking really great. It's very stylized and angular. Here's a look at the back of the head. Down over to the chest piece, also looking very angular. The silver applications on here are done very nicely. You have these tiny hexagon patterns underneath, some nice silver down over here. The rest of the chest area looking really great. He's a very bulky guy. This little waist section missing a few paint applications, but the mold itself is still really well done. And it looks like I already have some paint chipping going on, which is unfortunate. Shoulder pieces are nice and bulky. I feel like the Autobot insignia kind of blends into it, but it is game accurate. Some nice sculpt work on the elbows, and the rest of the arms are looking really good. Take a look at all that. It is a bit hollow over here, which is unfortunate. And then these hands, they are sculpted really well. Like each individual finger is clearly defined. Very impressive.
I want this inside of me.
And down over to the crotch piece, once again you have those hexagonal patterns in orange. Some tiny bit of mechanical detail in the legs. It's kind of hard to see. The rest of these legs looking really good around here, except for this area where it's very hollow. Unfortunate. Further down the legs, some missing paint applications. Are supposed to be blue right over here, but that's alright. It's not something that bothers me. I just want to point it out. But the rest of the legs is done really well. Not entirely screen accurate. These silver bits need to be sticking out a bit more. These hexagonal patterns need to be red. And then these side panels looking a little bit bulky, but all in all, the legs look really good.
All this that I just mentioned doesn't really bother me. It's just something I wanted to point out.
You're the problem. You are the problem.
Because all in all, this is a really great looking figure. I am so impressed by it.
No!
Further down, here's a look at the bottom of the feet, and then a look at the back. You see the wheels are stored here, and that's the front of the truck mode. This is honestly going to be one of my favorite Optimus Prime figures.
I feel like I say that a lot though.
Here he is next to Volvo Optimus Prime,
Watch that review after this one.
Rise of the Beast Wheeljack, Studio Series Bumblebee, and a half-transformed KO Optimus Prime. This part wouldn't come up, so I couldn't transform it all the way.
When things don't work out, give up.
Here's the vehicle mode for the figure, and it looks really good. Very game accurate. This top part doesn't tab into anything, it just stays in there like that, so you do kind of have a gap there. You also do have these noticeable gaps there and over here. Also at the back, his hands are clearly visible, and it's very annoying. They kind of feel like truck nuts. I really wish there was like a panel back here to cover it up. So unaesthetic.
It's all too familiar, honestly.
I am directly below. Enemy scrotum.
Also, another thing I noticed is that on my copy, I think there's a bunch of scratches back here. I think it's a bit more noticeable on this side here, and like especially here. If you guys know anything about that, or if you have that issue too, please leave a comment down below. But other than that, the rest of the truck mode looking pretty good. The paint match over here is done really well. The tires are looking very Cybertronian. You have that silver and that reddish orange in the middle. The front of the truck looking really cool. You have all these nice silver paint applications and details done really well. You got the smokestacks on the top, and here's a look underneath for those who are curious. Also, make sure to stick around because I'll show how to transform this figure. Here he is in vehicle mode next to my KO Studio Series Optimus Prime and that Volvo Optimus Prime. And you can really see the size difference along with the Rise of the Beast Wheeljack figure. Accessories wise, you get a really cool looking backdrop. You get his classic ion blaster, which from the top I think the mold is done really well, but underneath it's so hollow and it's kind of annoying. But like I said, the rest of it not too bad. Now the axe itself I think falls flat really bad. I don't like the color of gray plastic on here.
Like the mold is pretty good,
but the paint job is super poor.
Yikes.
The way the orange is at the edges is done really bad. It's supposed to make it look like it's glowing like it does in the game, but it is done super poorly. And the orange doesn't even seem like a proper Energon orange. It seems more like the color of beach sand. Also, I think this should be in a darker gray. It might have looked better if the blades were entirely orange instead of whatever the hell this is. Now this axe does have another mode. What you can do is open that up, and then you get a more symmetrical looking axe. This axe can also separate into 3 different pieces. So if you want a shorter axe, you can do that.
That's kind of small.
Or if you want to have him hold it through here, that can also be a thing. It's very tight and doesn't want to go in. So you can have him hold it there, attach that at the bottom, and then place this axe at the top. And now he's holding his very poor looking battle axe. The axe does also have these hollow points, which is really annoying.
Honestly though, the superior weapon would be an alligator.
Now to attach this sexy boy's blaster, what you want to do is take off the arm, and hopefully that doesn't become loose over time. Then you take the blaster and place it right there like that. And then you can bend it in place properly. And there we go. That looks really cool and accurate to the game. Now you might be wondering what you're you're supposed to do with the rest of the arm? Well, you stick it in his ass.
Now entering glory hole.
That is definitely one way to do it, and I guess if you have the we're moving on. Now he does also have another accessory. Open his chest piece and you have the Matrix of Leadership. It looks really cool. You can take it out, and before we take a look at that, there is so much nice mechanical detail going on in here, and that gunmetal gray is done really well. It's really cool seeing all the wires in there and everything. That is done so good. And then here's a look at the Matrix, casted in a gray color, and some really nice orange and blue paint on there. Also, there is weapon storage. You can take the ion blaster and tab it right into the back of the truck. Pretty game accurate from what I remember. It's been a while since I've played the game. And then the axe goes at the top over here, and that is something. Now for the articulation, the head can move up and down. You do get a full 360 rotation, which is awesome. These arms can move out to the side.
You can pull this out and bring the arms forward. This is mainly for the transformation though. This seems like it can move back and forth and up and down. Do not do that. I say as I clearly do that.
You are the problem.
On a very serious note though,
You can see with the way it's made, if you force this too much, it could just possibly break.
it is something I'm really worried about.
These arms can only move out to the side about that much, and then you can give them a full 360. You get waist rotation, an elbow bend. These hands can rotate, but not a full 360. These bits do get in the way. A full 360 rotation at the waist. Leg can move out to the side, as well as be brought forward pretty high up, but you can only bring it back about that far, which is disappointing. A nice knee bend, which does get blocked by this wheel over here. If we move it out of the way, you get slightly more movement. The feet can move back and forth, and you do get a pivot. Now for the transformation. First, you want to bring these out to the side, and once again, be careful with this. Bring this piece out, and then rotate it over. Make sure both of the arms are at a T-pose. Next, you want to rotate this section clockwise. Don't even attempt to rotate it counterclockwise, because once again, it might put stress on this part and break. So rotate it like that. Same with this one. Now what we can do is take out the chest piece. Make sure it's all the way out and flat like that. Move back the head. Now we can bring this down, and make sure this section goes underneath these parts, and we can tab that into place. Rotate the waist and bring the legs up like that. Go over to the underneath of the figure. Make sure that the Autobot insignia is facing inwards and bring in the arms. Same with this one. Make sure that's inwards and bring that in. This is already starting to become loose, which is kind of annoying. Now rotate the arms to where they're like so. Tab these into place, and that might undo when you're transforming the figure, so just watch out for that. Next, we'll bring these up halfway so we can rotate the wheels out. Same with this one. Flip the figure over, bring up both of these leg panels, bring in both of the feet, tab that in there, straighten all of this out, and get the arms underneath. This can be a little bit tricky to do. And now we can re-tab everything and align it in place. Bring these top sections, and they do need to tab into place like that. Now we can bring this down, bring up the smokestacks like so, and then finally we can close this. And this does need to tab into place over there. Same with this one. Make sure it all tabs into place, and now we can line everything up. And here's a vehicle mode for Optimus Prime. There's a helicopter flying by. That's really annoying. Thank you. This figure does have some issues that stop it from being perfect, but overall, I think it's a really great figure. Now, if you want more Optimus Prime videos, check out my Volvo Optimus Prime video or the Robosen Optimus Prime video.